This
is Journal
club.
Okay.
Hi guys. Hey guys, we look very similar.
Us? Oh, from the other video.
Yeah.
No, in general.
Have you ever?
So Sienna, have you ever thought about like menopause and what it's gonna be like?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks that we're eventually gonna go through it one day, and I heard like pretty bad things.
Yeah, it's like hot flashes and other painful things. It's like 24/7 pain.
Yeah, and like you're even moodier, and like you just don't feel well, and it lasts for a really long time. Like that's pretty.
Yeah, almost a decade.
Yeah. So like menstrual cycle and menopause is one of the main things that differentiates men and women. So there are a lot of biological differences between us, obviously. So the hormones involved and other stuff. But let's actually take a deeper dive into the biology behind menopause through this metric called epigenetic age acceleration.
So what is that, Kevin?
So to give a little background about this, do you guys know what DNA methylation is?
I think so,
Yes.
but please explain.
No, tell us more.
So basically,
Never heard of
it's
that?
the process of adding a methyl group to somewhere in your DNA that basically modifies the way your genes are expressed without actually changing your DNA sequence. So researchers recently have been able to harness the power of like knowing how methylated your DNA is to actually predict biological age. And if you want to know more about that, there should be a video above my head that links to something else.
So we talked about methylation.
Yeah, so anyways, researchers have harnessed the power of methylation by like looking at this certain sites that are methylated and taking those numbers, putting them into a model, and then it spits out a biological age. So what is this biological age as opposed to like how old are you?
Numerically.
17.
You're 17, but you drink and smoke, obviously. Look at you. So, so you put your methylation levels into this model, and it spits out your biological age, which is probably around 30. So your biological age is much higher than your chronological age, your actual age.
Yeah.
So, in simple terms, if you have a higher biological age, you're more unhealthy. You're aging faster,
Yeah.
meaning you'll die faster. But let's say, like Isabel, how old are you?
17.
Okay, you're also 17. But you eat a Mediterranean diet or like a healthy diet, and you exercise daily, and you put your methylation levels into the model, spits out like 12. Basically, you have a lower biological age than chronological age, meaning you're healthier. So what this paper actually did is it used this metric of, is your biological age higher, around the same, or lower than your chronological age, and correlated that to age at menopause. So basically what they found is if you have a lower age of menopause, meaning you menopause earlier, that means you have a higher biological age, meaning you're unhealthier, technically. I mean, you die sooner.
Are there factors that go into why like menopause can like happen
Onset.
at an earlier age? Or is it just like
Factors that, that's interesting, yeah. Factors that could contribute to menopause at an earlier age. I'm sure,
things like poor diet, drugs?
I'm sure
Well,
a
it's
lot of-
hormone imbalance, right?
Yeah.
So, I was just gonna say that could be manipulated by your lifestyle, genetics, or disease, like an autoimmune disorder or something that could affect that.
which is probably exactly how the study got like
Participants.
materialized
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
first place,
Yeah.
because they knew that these factors such as lifestyle and whatever else could affect biological age,
Which-
maybe it could correlate to age at menopause. So maybe if you could take a young lady and take her methylation levels, possibly you could predict age at menopause, which is pretty important. You can prepare yourself for that, first of all. So besides age at menopause, they did other stuff in the study, like a bilateral oophorectomy, which is basically removal
of your what ovary?
of your ovaries.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that also correlated with a higher biological age. So if you had your
Ovaries
ovaries
taken out.
removed, then biologically, according to your methylation levels, you're also unhealthier.
But wasn't there also
Well-
some other thing that they used aside from the removal of ovaries? I feel like there's one other thing that also related to stopping menopause.
I mean,
To stopping it?
Or like
Starting it earlier?
starting it earlier or stopping?
Yeah.
Starting it earlier.
I mean, there are all these factors that we can take into account, but I think the main gist is that whoever's watching,
Be careful.
yeah, be careful of your lifestyle because obviously, I mean, I think we all know we want to live a healthier life so we have better lives later, but it'll affect your menstrual cycle, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, and if it onsets sooner, I mean, maybe you miss the opportunity to have kids.
That is
Also true.
Do you think it actually could be correlated with the age and or number of kids you have? Like if you have kids younger, maybe?
That's
Does that have-
Do you think it
interesting.
could be related?
I mean,
Because I mean, when you're, well, to my understanding, I haven't been pregnant, but
Right,
if you're pregnant, to my knowledge, like obviously your hormones are kind of going all over the place, and it's very stressful for your body. So if you have kids, maybe you have like 10 kids, or you have them starting really young, or something. I mean, maybe that can play a role in it.
yeah,
I'm
but
sure.
possibly could be a direct relationship. Like directly, your hormones are different. This affects that. This affects that. Or it could be indirect. Like you have a lot of kids, therefore inducing a lot of stress, which therefore
Yeah. Induces.
Induces menopause.
accelerated methylation, which induces higher biological age and maybe earlier menopause.
So it's causal in the way that like your biological age becomes higher than your chronological age, and then that causes menopause earlier rather than the other way around.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Something I also wonder is because I know that they found that like epigenetic changes in your genome can be kind of inherited almost. So for some families, if there's like a trend for the women to have menopause earlier or later, is that also related to their like epigenetics and stuff?
Probably, yeah, like inheritance, like some people may say like, oh, obesity runs in your family, or like
Nothing runs.
but yeah, so I mean all these familial like factors, inheritance, it of
I mean,
course
genetics also plays a role in like how long you can live. I mean, there's like outliers,
Yeah,
but also
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm sure like if you have a family history of earlier menopause, then maybe you have a family history of people who die at a younger age than like a family who's has a history of later menopause.
I mean, it's interesting because I mean, if you think about it, like evolutionarily speaking, you're supposed to reproduce, and then that's the only reason you're supposed to survive. So after that, like if your body goes into menopause, I mean, you're kind of like useless, as they.
Yeah.
I mean, not in our society, I would hope.
Evolution.
But yeah, like I mean, millions of years ago, it would be like that. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting that your body would just like, if it notices that you're getting older, it'll just accelerate the process in which you lose your ability to be like reproductively viable.
That's a good way of looking at it.
So if you guys want to stop bleeding, maybe you should stress yourself out more.
So that you have a lower quality of life and you die sooner too.
But you have an earlier age of menopause, which is also terrible.
Yeah, so live a healthy life so you don't have menopause early.
But maybe if you really don't like bleeding, that's also.
I'm sure there are other solutions.
I don't know. Also, because menopause, it's like the symptoms are so different and the age is so different
Yeah,
between women
there's-
to women. So I wonder, is that something that we can see in methylation as well, right?
Yeah, so much variability. Maybe even like taking birth control.
Right.
Oh,
Oh, that
is
would
true,
definitely
yeah,
Such a
that-
big
have an
effect.
effect.
Yeah. So all things to investigate later.
Yeah, future works.
Yeah, they got
Cool.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay safe, ladies.
Wait,
Ladies, we stand with you.
Oh, look at these male feminists. Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Why are we clapping?
I don't know.
Go in order. Like,
What's the order?
Kevin Chen signing off.